Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat.
Hey, I am really excited. For one, I'm recording this video, but the most simplest excitement about the entire video is that I used this ring light. I put it together myself. Yeah, that may be, that's a simple pleasure for me, but I'm really excited about it. So, and I just wanted to put it out there. I have paper, front, back. I've taken like several notes. They are not in any type of order or anything like that for this video, but I felt it was very important to begin the work and to talk about this whole mother wound. In my line of work, as a clinician, I have run across so many women who are hurt. And not only do I run across them, but I share this wound with them. I also share a wound with them too, because we are sisters. But in that, I felt it necessary that as I uncover another layer of mother trauma, this whole attachment theory and all of that, that I'm working on and through myself, I felt compelled to share some of the information that I have stumbled across with other people. So, the first thing is we would have to define mother. Like, what would you consider a mother to be? And oftentimes we think of a mother as what Western civilization has told us a mother is, the person that gives birth to you. Then they go on and teach us a mother is supposed to love you and care for you and feed you and hug and kiss you and affirm you and validate you. She's supposed to take care of you financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of that, right? But often, much like the church, the Bible gives us this rubric of how things are supposed to go. But the Bible does not give us the what if it's not like this. What if my story is not like this? What if that's not my reality? We don't have the conditions or the conditional. What's the opposite of this? We don't have that. So when we don't have that, we really don't know how to fill in those blanks. We don't know what to do with ourselves and the emotions and all the things that we are feeling. So with that, we have been taught what mother is supposed to be. We grow up with these preconceived notions that this is what a mother is supposed to be. And when we do not have that, we don't know what to do with that negative energy, the emotions, the feelings, or any of that. So these are, and this is my opinion, of course, but these are just things or ways that you know that you have a mother wound. The first thing is feeling inadequate, feeling unworthy, feeling unloved, not good enough. And the list goes on and on and on. No one was there to validate me. No one was there to affirm me. No one was there to pick me up. If you go to your mom and you talk to your mom about a hard day in the office, and your mom turn around and tell you, instead of saying, well, baby, I'm sorry about that, and I hate that, and I apologize that you had such a bad day, but she make it be about her. Not only is that narcissistic, but she taught you subconsciously that the things that you were bringing to the table were not important. So the child, or the person that the mom is talking to, will then internalize that as, she didn't care about me. What I was saying to her wasn't important for her to see about me in this moment. She made it be about her. So that's how we determine if we have a mother wound. The negative thoughts, that shapes our self-esteem. And we are taught what self-esteem means as a child, adolescent years. So we have to learn how to rewrite the subconscious. And what that means is we first have to get in there and go deep. How we ended up with this wound was because of the expectations that we had of our mother anyway. When we first start to do this work, journal work, thinking about some things, going to therapy, whatever it is you decide to do when you begin your mother wound work, we have to identify our expectations. For me, because I shared this mother wound, my expectation of my mother growing up was to be there, support me, come to my spelling bees because I was a smart kid. So come to my spelling bees. I wasn't cheering. I cheered in elementary school, but I wasn't an athlete. But come to my stuff. Like, you know that I'm going to be in the spelling bee. You know that I'm going to do something academically. So come and support me, whatever that is. My award ceremonies, dance recitals. I was in plays at school and at the church. Come and support me that way. Encourage me, to go to school and encourage me to continue learning, not saying things like, when are you going to stop going to school and shouldn't you be tired of school now? Well, that's why, I have what I have because I continued to go and to do and to be because these were the desires of my heart, So then we have to identify the expectations. What is it that we expect? Once we identify the expectations, does your expectations line up with your reality? See, this sets us up for the okie doke. If I'm sitting, the perception of me is that I'm all that in a bag of chips, hypothetically speaking. I'm all that in a bag of chips. But then when I go out into the real world shows me that I'm just another soul. I'm just another being. I'm just another person trying to make it just like the next sister and brother. So it's no need for me to have an air about myself when everybody in the world, we share the same thing. We all have the same basic needs for survival: love, food, shelter. That's it. Those are the things that we need. So it's no need to think, that we're better than anybody else. So once I have identified my expectations, right? And I also realize that my expectations don't line up with my reality. So when I figure out that they don't line up with my reality, in my mind, that takes me to a place. It takes me to a dark place. It takes me to a sad place. It takes me to a place where I can become jealous. I can become envious when I see healthy dynamics because there are things it's just things that I haven't had. To be affirmed, to be encouraged, to be loved on, to be thoroughly supported, and just to be bragged on. And there are just things that I have not received. So oftentimes I have looked for partners that I'm dealing with to affirm me as my parents were supposed to do, mother and father for that matter. So got my expectations. Now I realize that my expectations don't line up with my reality. So the next step in all of this is identifying what I feel. Am I angry? Am I jealous? Am I upset? Because see, the mother wound shows up in different ways. You could, if you are in a better position financially or whatever than your mother wound could be resentment. If you look different, better, whatever than your mother, it could be jealousy. But that also can be placed on you where when you see other people and you see these dynamics and it's something that you haven't had, you start to feel that you want to be invited in. You want to be, you want to feel that same interaction that they're having, that same love, that if you witness a mom and daughter's dynamic or relationship, and I'm witnessing this and I'm someone who doesn't have it, that may trigger something in me and I'd be like, damn, I wish I had that. Or why can't I have this and that? So identifying the expectations, identifying that your reality doesn't add up to what you expected. A lot of times it's these mothers who create the mother wounds. They are not able to think. They are not able to feel. They are not able to process. They are not able to embrace the things that they had. Like they couldn't break the cycle. They couldn't come out of whatever they were dealing with. They didn't have a Dr. Phil and a Dr. B and an Oprah Winfrey and an Ayanna. They didn't have all of these people. The internet wasn't there where we have a plethora of resources that's just readily available to help people if you're ready to receive it. But they didn't have that. So we'll come back to compassion, but that opens up the door for compassion. But attachment injuries, it's a history of what you have learned. So this is what I'm talking about. Western culture, Western society has kind of taught us what mother is supposed to be, the patriarchal teachings of what that looks like. We are also taught that the mother is the physical person, the caregiver, right? But when you think about what a mother is, the mother relationship is supposed to go with you as you grow up. The same way you grow and evolve, the relationship is supposed to grow and evolve. If I'm now 45, my mother is not supposed to treat me the same, talk to me the same as I'm a child. That there is unhealthy. Meet me where I am. I'm an adult now. I'm still your baby, yes, but I'm an adult. And this leads me to another thing. Adult children who have to parent their mothers, that's a whole nother set of psychological issues. If children are taking care of their mothers and stuff, even at a young age, whether, you had a sick mom and I had to see about you and all, that's a whole nother bag of worms. And we'll talk about that later. But it's very important to identify what you expect and put that in terms of what actually is going on today. So the imagined mother, what I imagine, the past tense mother versus what I really have right now today. So the internalized image that we have of our mother, that's who we envision. This is the person that I wanted to affirm me. I wanted to support. I wanted her to love on me. I wanted us to be able to, now that I'm an adult, go hang out, get our nails done, go out to eat. But that is not my story. So that can set up some feelings within me. And since I have those feelings, I do have to be very, very cognizant not to sabotage other relationships in my life, because I have that deficit. I have to make sure that I'm not looking for other women, friends, partners, all of that to replace these voids. I have to do something with that energy. I have to move it. So for instance, what if I was a person who, have this mother wound, and all of my friends, I make sure, I purposely seek out older women, in their 60s and 70s to kind of fill that void, but I also have a friend in them too. That could kind of be a self-sabotaging relationship. So being able to unlayer the uncomfortable feeling is key. A lot of times we don't want to call our mothers out. For some reason, we give mothers a pardon that we don't give fathers. I don't know why. I don't know if that comes from the patriarchal teaching that, women are weaker. They are the lesser vessel. You got to be kind to them, spare their feelings and all of this. But I know some pretty tough women, and I feel like women would be able to handle the truth if the truth had been given to them from the very beginning, instead of like a book of lies and illusions. So one thing that I want to highlight is trauma. The definition of trauma is an epidemic infection that has been passed on. So my mom has, some traumatic events. Because she didn't heal from those, she passed them on to me. Even though, it's something that I don't like, I'm sure that I have passed on some things to my daughter as well. That's just how it goes until we have an awareness or a wherewithal to do something with the trauma and their energy, right? These are three ways that having the mother wound can show up. The mother wound can show up in you being broke. Money is energy. It's a thought process. It's an ideology. It has a lot to do with your ability to receive. But we have been taught that money is transactional. So if you have a narcissistic or a mother wound, you have been taught that there's a give and take, there's an exchange. So you give me something, I give you something. But when the mother wound is there, that shows up as a deficit. Like there's always a deficit there that we are trying to fill this void with something. Because we don't have the love and because we don't have the time or the affection or whatever, we try to compensate it with other things. So we may go out and buy something. We may be frivolous with our money. We may be, reckless. We may try to buy people and time and affection, but that constantly keeps us deficient, financially in our pocketbooks. So friendships with women as women are shitty. So most of our friendships, we have to learn how to be friends when we have a mother wound. We have to identify our stuff, own our mess, because it's hard to love women and friends when your relationship or the first relationship that you knew, which was your mother, is messed up. The foundation is not as solid as you would like for it to be. And a lot of women who have the mother wound, they overwork themselves. So we feel like overexertion is the thing. We work all day, all night. We want to feel accomplished. We want to feel, validated, like we really did some things. And a mother and a woman who is balanced, she understands rest. And in understanding rest, you don't work until nightfall and then you want to go to bed. No, you listen to your body. Your body is communicating with you. If your eyes are burning, if you start to feel pain in your back, if you start to feel restless and you're yawning, that's your body's way of communicating with you. Like, hey, we need some rest, But there's no need for me to continue working all day, all night. Working for what? And who am I trying to impress? I know who I am. I know my worth. But when you are uncertain of your worth and you're trying to prove something to you and all the people around you, you will work like a workhorse until you drive yourself crazy. So a really good point that I want to make is when we do not have a healthy foundation, mother-daughter foundation, we have to learn how to mother ourselves. So that mother that you had that was, responsible for loving on you, teaching you, how to clean up and how to cook and how to sew, or, just hanging out, whatever, you guys' pastime was as a child. When you don't have that, growing up with that wound, the work is to learn how to mother yourself. So what does mothering myself look like? So for me, I affirm myself. I love on myself. I take my shoes off and I walk outside. I speak to Mother Earth. If I'm having a shitty day and I saw something that triggered me, or I'm feeling a little jealous or envious of not having something, or I feel like I'm in a deficit, when I tell you I can go outside and take my shoes off and connect with the earth, I can hug a tree. I can literally put my ear to the ground, the grass, and I listen. And when I listen and I say a prayer, I immediately feel better. I feel like I just got the boost of energy or love or support, whatever it is that I needed. Now, this may not happen every single day, but this is one way that I mother myself. Another way that I mother myself, whatever I'm feeling, I go through a series of questions. Am I jealous? Am I upset? What made me feel that way? Why am I feeling that way? Is it, something that I can change or rectify? Is it something that they did, purposely or intentionally to make me feel this way? Once I arrive at the answers to those questions, the very last question is, but what do I need to be okay right now in this moment? What do I need to be okay? Sometimes that's as simple as ice cream. It can be going to buy me something. It can be going outside. It can be watching television, listening to some music, dancing, doing some yoga, journaling, singing, getting up, putting on some makeup, going to a bar, having a drink, calling up a friend. It could just be a number of things, but whatever I need or I want in that moment, I honor myself. I give it to myself to make myself feel better, because practicing mindfulness is the right now in the moment. So what do you need right now, to be okay? And you go with that. Like the people in church say, go with God. You are God. What do you need, God? What do you need to be okay right now in this moment? Go with that. Just go with it. One key point is, how do we understand the output? So trauma or a mother wound, all it is depression is really the output of what's going on the inside. I try to tell people all the time that the deeper you get into depression, that's the deeper the wound is. When it's very hard for you to come out and live in normalcy, if you will, whatever normal is, whatever your normal is, like, you get to set those boundaries. But if you're having a hard time laughing or talking or enjoying moments, and you're constantly like in thought, depression is an outward expression of what's going on the inside. So we have to tap into ourselves to see what is going on. But this whole mother wound comes from what we were taught mothers are supposed to be to us. And when that's not our reality, we don't have the plan B. We don't have the rebuttal. We don't have the other option. We don't have what now? We don't have the next person in command. We have to create these things for ourselves so that we don't walk around like angry dogs. I know for me, I used to be angry because all I wanted was to be loved. All I wanted was to be told, you the shit. All I wanted was to be told, you rock. Like, you are the best thing since ice cream. That's all I wanted. And I constantly tasked the people that I would date this responsibility. I can only imagine how exhausting that was. And I apologize. I apologize to anyone that I have ever impacted or put my mother wound on them. Like, I just apologize, because now that I'm doing so much work with this, I know that it's exhausting, but I also know that it wasn't done intentionally, and that wasn't my heart. It's almost like somebody else gave me the heart that I had because it was hardened, and it was hardened because of the situation, the hand that I was dealt. Like, that's not a hand that I wanted. That's not a lifestyle that I wanted, but it's what I had, and just in all fairness, I feel like everybody do the best that they can with what they have. So I never like to leave my videos without, like steps and action plans and all that kind of stuff. So really, I want us to think about what a mother truly is. How can we redefine mother for us? And not just in the physical sense, but mother, just the word mother. It gives me chills when I think about it, because the word mother is a universal life force. It's all things. It's God, it's love, it's care, it's concern, it's validation, it's affirmation, it's peace, it's serenity. That's what a mother is. And we can be all of those things to ourselves. It doesn't have to come from the person who gave birth to us or who we were taught we're supposed to do all of these things. we have to start rewriting the narrative, rewriting our subconscious mind on what we think mother is. So mother can be a goddess. It's the universal great force. It's great. It can be a grandmother. It can be an auntie. But at the end of the day, the bigger picture of mother is a force. It's an energy. It's a strength. It's a feeling. It's something that resides within all of us. Be sure that you are not interacting with the imagined trajectory of what mother is. So who you think mama is versus who you really have in your life as mother. And if the person is messed up, fucked up, jacked up, and they cause you more harm than good, interrupts your peace, come on, we got to stop saying that because it's mama, I got to do it because it's mama. And I got to know. Human beings are the only people who feel like mama shit on me, family shit on me, and I'ma keep them because they family. That is so toxic. That is so toxic, and that's how we stay in these sick and toxic relationships. We gotta stop that. We have to learn how to call a spade, say what it is, and decide how we are going to move differently for our own peace and sanity. But we gotta stop that. So I'm going to tell you a story before I go to my steps to start healing this mother wound. I don't know if anyone, has heard of this, but in this mother wound, the feelings that we have of sadness, depression, anger, jealousy, and all of that comes up. It just comes up. That shit just knocks on the door and you be like, girl, where you come from? And it'll just come out of nowhere and it'll mess up your day. It'll mess up your mood. And it's because it's a void, it's a deficit, it's a hole there in your heart. But perhaps the thing that you are mourning is a relationship that you don't have, true enough. But what if the other side of that is that you are righting the wrong, or not the wrong per se, but you're rewriting the story and rewriting the outcome of your children's children, because you decided to do something different for you, for yourself, as well as for your children than your mother did for you. So for instance, let's just say that growing up, I wasn't told that I was loved. I wasn't hugged. I wasn't admired. I wasn't pushed, to do different things. I just had an inner tenacity myself that I just said that I didn't want to be like my parents, if I'm honest. I didn't want to be like my mama, and I didn't want to be like my daddy. The one thing that they didn't do, they didn't go to college. Well, let me take my black ass to school. Let me do something and see if I can roll the dice and just something comes up different. So what if by chance me trying to rewrite these things and have a redo with my daughter, what if I'm rewriting history, but because I'm so different at this age than my parents were to me, what if I'm the parent to them? Because what if by chance they call me for advice? They call me to help out with certain things. They call me to vent. They call me to, they call me for a laundry list of things. But what if perhaps the thing that I was mourning, yes, was something that I didn't have, but what I absolutely have is a relationship where in some capacity or another, I parent them. The other side of that is that I'd made a conscious choice to parent my daughter differently than how I was parented. Now, granted, it's from a deficit and it's probably some dysfunction in that too. I show up too much. I give too much. I spoil. I don't hardly reprimand. It's other things that come with that. But in being a better parent or desiring to be a better parent, I made vows to myself that I would show up for her differently. I would go to her events because didn't nobody come to mind. I would love and hug and kiss her and tell her I love her. I didn't get that a lot. I would hold her hand. Didn't get that a lot. I would encourage her. She say she wanna, go out and do a craft or be an entrepreneur, whatever it is, I go buy it. I didn't get that. So whatever I didn't have, I tend to parent from that deficit. Now that's good and bad, right? I'm learning the balance in all of that. I'm also learning to allow her to be who she's going to be. Allow people to be who they're going to be. Even your parents, allow them to be who they're going to be. Your mother, allow her to be who she's going to be. The biggest thing that I had to accept was that all that she is, I needed to understand that it just wasn't enough for me. And that's okay. Like when I tell you that is so okay. Whoever she is, whatever she have to offer, if you want it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But we have to stop holding people to our standards, our expectations, and allow them to be who they are going to be. That's the biggest takeaway from this. Allow people to be who they're going to be, but you get to move accordingly. You get to decide if that's enough for you. And I'm just now at the point where I realize that although this is my mom and this is the relationship that we have, it's just not enough for me. And I have to be honest with that. I have to be able to say my truth. Damn, and I'm sorry if you're mad about it.
Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear